According to Washington, America has excellent relationships in Latin America. Very strong, very healthy, very frequently mentioned, which is interesting because when a relationship is going well, you don't usually keep reminding people. Today's question is simple. If America is still so popular in Latin America, why does it keep issuing warnings? To be fair, Washington never actually says, "We're popular in Latin America." That would sound insecure. Instead, it says things like, "We maintain strong partnerships across the hemisphere. The region shares our values." Countries understand the risks of external influence, which is a fascinating way to talk, because that's not polling data nor evidence. That's saying, "We're fine," while checking the mirror. And when you find yourself narrating how popular you are, it's usually because you're not hearing it back anymore. When you're genuinely popular, you don't warn your friends about their other friends, issue concern-filled statements, or explain why you're still the partner of choice. You just get chosen. Popularity is quiet. It shows up in contracts, trade. Who gets the call first? You don't announce it. You don't enforce it. You definitely don't keep bringing it up. Now look at China, one of your friend's other friends. China never says it's popular in Latin America, nor talk about shared values, nor hold press conferences about alignment. China says, "Here's a port, here's a railway, here's financing." No speeches, no warnings, no emotional check-ins, which is why America isn't really competing with China. It's talking around China. You know what Americans genuinely love? The Olympics. We love the Olympics. Why? Because the Olympics celebrate the sports spirit. You train hard. You compete fairly. You lose with dignity. You win without flipping the table. Every 4 years, the world agrees on one beautiful rule. If you can't outrun them, you don't trip them. And yet somehow, America forgets this the moment the competition isn't on a track. Because when the US feels confident, it races. But when winning starts to look difficult, suddenly it's not a race anymore. It's a rules meeting, new regulations, new restrictions, new warnings about how the other runner's shoes are unsafe and bad for the integrity of sprinting. Which is fascinating because in sports, that's cheating. In geopolitics, that's called leadership. China builds faster, file a complaint. Latin America trains harder, change the rules. Can't win cleanly? Redefine what winning means. The Olympic spirit says, "May the best competitor win." American foreign policy too often says, "May the competition slow down." And that's when Latin America starts wondering, wait, are we racing? Or are you also the referee? This is why the warnings keep coming. Warnings aren't about security. They're about status. You don't warn people who depend on you. You warn people who are starting to compare options. Warnings are what you issue when influence used to be automatic, and now it isn't. The fear isn't that Latin America hates the United States. The fear is worse. The fear is that Latin America is calm, pragmatic, transactional, choosing partners the way adults do, based on speed, cost, delivery, results. That's terrifying, because it means America isn't being rejected. It's being evaluated. So no, America doesn't issue warnings to Latin America because of greed. Greed builds things. This is fear. Fear that influence isn't automatic anymore. Fear that popularity has to be earned again. Fear that Washington keeps saying everything is fine while quietly checking the mirror. And the real fear is that one morning, Latin America wakes up and realizes, oh, we forgot to ask Washington. And Washington, still mid-affirmation, doesn't notice right away. Thank you for tuning in. Caring about power means caring about how it behaves, when winning isn't automatic anymore. America at its best doesn't need to warn, doesn't need to narrate, doesn't need to keep checking the mirror. It competes. This is Global Storm Room. See you next time.